Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I did say to you I'll be back again to continue about talking about my testimony and what I've been through. Sorry, today of all days I'm feeling a little bit down, to tell you the truth. And that's only because, like I said before, I've been going through fights with my family. We can all say it's, well, warfare. It's real. It's truly real. Right now, without saying too much, because I don't want the devil to know what's happening in my life, because I think they believe that they're winning when they understand. But my God says, touch not my anointed. And what else does he say? Sorry, I can't think of my Bible scriptures right now. The warfare may touch you, but it cannot harm you. And it does touch, just a little. So right now I'm going through warfare. I've literally had to cut off a certain family member, which then means that I am now more of a targeted individual. But I've had to turn down and cut off this person, because when you can see that certain things are happening in your life and you know who it is, and it has to stop. It has to stop. It truly has to stop. You can't stay around something that's no good for you. You can't stay around something that is truly trying to harm you, no matter the love you have for it or not. But we will get to that one another day, because like I said to you before, we're going to do a run-up of the things that I've been through, the things that I've been through throughout my life. So here goes. Should we start from when I was really young? Well, firstly, as a young child, I used to see what I would assume would be ghosts, but that's only because of our upbringing. We get brought up and they're just like, they believe in Duppy, they believe in ghosts, they believe in these things. And now I'm a child of God, I realize, like, there is no Duppy, there is no ghost. These are actual spirits that are roaming. Like, so what I can now change it to is, I was able to see spirits walking around every day like nothing. Walking around in my home. I come from Guyana. Yeah, so we can all imagine like the amount of witchcraft there is in not just my country, a lot in the Caribbean countries and the African countries. Let's just face it, there's just witchcraft everywhere. Like, I'm in Europe, I'm in UK, and the witchcraft is strife. Like, the people that were in Guyana have brought it to London, and then you've got the people in London anyway that do witchcraft. Don't get me started on that. There's just a lot of evil around. And to tell you the truth, I think people need to wake up and realize that the world is not all butterflies and candy canes. It is, I would say, scary, because once you're walking with God, ain't nothing scaring you. But yeah, it's not what most people think it is. And if they choose to walk around thinking that it is that way, then good for you. But the life I live, it's warfare every day. Every day is a warfare. You think that being depressed is not a warfare. It's a warfare. It is an actual warfare. You're going through war. Depression is not real. It's a spirit. Having poverty is not just poverty. It's a spirit. spirit of lack, spirit of depression, spirit of anxiety. They're all spirits, and people don't understand that you need to rebuke these spirits in order to live a healthy life. Because these spirits, if you don't think it's a spirit, it will keep coming back and keep creeping up, and then people will be like, oh, I suffer from anxiety. And I'm not saying that people that suffer from these things, or think that they suffer from these things, that I don't feel sorry for them, because I do. But it's a lack of knowledge. And even in the Bible it says, my people perish from the lack of knowledge. And that is definitely a lack of knowledge. These things that we go through, it's just not real. But we will get more into that later on. So anyway, I'm able to see spirits when I was younger. Had a bad separation from my family when my grandma died, who was a woman of God. Went to live with a family member in another country. Didn't have the best upbringing. So before I went to the other country, apparently, from what I was told and from what I do know, my knowledge, my mum wasn't the best mum. But then I would personally say it would be hard for her to be the best mom, because she had me at a really young age. I'm not going to say the age that she had me, but she had me at a young age. And growing up, I still understood that she had me at a young age. So mentally, I personally think that she kind of stayed that age, and that's why she behaved the way she did. That's why she treated me the way she did. It was more like an older sister coming for a younger sister, which I would say I accepted, but that's how I had to put it in my mind in order to just get over it. Because if that's the case, I would be very, very sad. And I think that was the whole impression, the whole reason why I was treated the way I was treated, was for me to feel very, very sad. We'll get to that soon, because this is all playing out as to what happens. So as a child growing up, I remember being like 5 and going through dramas and feeling sad. Nan dying was devastating for me, to tell you the truth. It was, to me, that was the only person that ever loved me and ever took care of me the way a parent should. Because obviously my Nan had her, I think it's up to 7 kids that she had. So she was a good parent as far as I understood. And then she had other grandchildren as well. But she took me in because she felt sorry for my mom. Because when my mum fell pregnant for me, she had nowhere to go. My Nan took us in, looked after us, which is, she's, as far as I'm concerned, that's a woman, a good woman, a woman of God. Something that I would strive for all my life, to tell you the truth. Because I remember she would take me to church. My first introduction to God. My first introduction to the church. But so she dies. I go to Barbados. Oop, there goes the country, the island. Anyway, not so great there. Then my mum finally came and got me, because apparently she said that I was being mistreated. It felt no different from where I was before. So I'd been mistreated by so many people. It just, that's life as far as I was concerned. Met a really nice lady who, I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning her name. She's a teacher by the name of Beverly. She took me in. And when I say took me in, like, I'd spend weekends with her and go to church with her. So introduced to church at a young age, which I was really grateful for, because in my spirit, I felt like home there. And then we can fast forward. Lived in Barbados for a couple of years. Sorry guys, the lighting's getting bad. I can feel like it's getting dark. I can see the quality is changing. But anyway, let's go on for as long as we can. Went back to Guyana. Like the worst situation ever. Love my family because I'm very family orientated, but my mum's family was just not the best. My mum would send me clothes and items, and they never ever clothed me with them. If anything, they would give it away or keep it in the barrel, which made no sense because what good is clothes in the barrel and having me looking like scruff? But you know. Then another grandma of mine died that I was living with, and the family came back to the funeral. I don't know if I'm saying this all too fast, if anyone can keep up. I'm trying to, there's so much to get out there that I'm just gonna, because we haven't even got to the juicy bit yet. So, but it's all to play, all plays out in my whole life, to tell you the truth. So, a bit of an orphan Annie. Living in a family member's house. You know how Caribbean people do. We send our kids back and the elders look after them, so they say. So then my grandma died. The family came over, they saw how I was being treated, and then I got moved on to a friend of my mum's, which I really had a good time there. I loved it. I had, for the first time in my life, I had sisters. This lady had 2 daughters, which took me in as their sister. And to tell you the truth, I loved being with them. I loved being around them. It was nice. I'd been an only child up until that point. I think I was like 8, 7, 8. And it was just nice. But the only thing is, this poor woman would get battered like most days of her life, or the time that I was there. You know, as a child, sometimes we see things differently. We remember it worse than what it really is. But I don't think you can make it any worse by seeing someone be beaten up by a man. So there was abuse going on, and it was very sad to see. But that's just how it was, and some people choose to be in that situation. Some people decide to walk away. I don't know why she stayed. Maybe because the man paid for everything for her and looked after her, and she felt that she had no choice but to stay. But the kids that she had weren't for him, so I don't know. You know, we all make choices. But I'll tell you something for nothing. All these things that I have been through has given me choices to make me realize that I don't want to live a certain way, and I don't want to be treated in a certain way, and I don't want a certain man in my life. The man that I have or will have in my life has to be respectful, has to be loving, kind, thoughtful. Yeah. Pretty much that. So that's the beginning, like up until like 10, and then I came over to England, where I currently live right now. And yeah, life didn't get any better. Life really didn't get any better. If anything, I think I'd rather where I was before, because I came here to a woman, my mother, who was broken. And I feel her pain. I really do. Like, even now, I have tears in my eyes to know that someone can go through the things that she's gone through. Like, having a child at 16 can't be easy. You know, when I came here, she was pregnant with my sister. I think she'd lost her job, or she didn't have any work. So we ended up living in like a housing. So she got a property through the council. I don't know how far this is going to reach, but in England, people get housed if they have single children, if they just have children and they're on their own, or even if they're not on their own and they just don't have the money to provide for it, the authorities would provide accommodation for you to live. And yeah, she had a house through that situation. But I would say she was sad, very sad. But through that, this is the bit, and I know that there's going to be some family members that are going to be like, why are you telling everyone your business? It's my business. It truly is my business, because I'm the one that went through it, and I've come a long way. And at the end of the day, this could have ruined me, but it didn't. I chose to gain strength from it, because seeing her not have any strength because of the things that she'd gone through and blame everybody for her life, I was just like, I don't want to live that life. I don't want to blame anybody. And it's not that I ever thought I was better than anybody. It's just that it doesn't make any sense. It's your life. You live it. Don't allow other people to take control. Don't allow people to make your circumstances their problem, your problem. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, is this your life or is this their life? Are you living in somebody else's skin, or are they living in your skin? You know, so when they give you advice, to me, it is just advice. It isn't that I have to live by that, or I have to do that, because that doesn't give me the free will to think for myself. That just makes me someone that's decided to copy someone, and then after, when it goes wrong, who do you blame? You can't turn around and say, I blame you, because you followed that person. And that's how I saw my mum. She'd be like, well, I followed this person, they told me this and it didn't work out. Well, I don't know, geez, work it out for yourself. I live my life for me. I don't live my life for anybody else, because I'm not going to blame anybody. If anything, I will sometimes say that maybe my mistake is I don't listen to other people. And sometimes people do give you good advice, and because I'm just so used to doing things for myself, I can't help but say no. But I'm not stupid. I will go away and I will think about it, and if it makes sense to me, then I might follow your advice. But it is what it is. So my mum was a very angry person, and unfortunately, she was pregnant with my sister, but so she was very unhappy. And unfortunately, just like how I was unhappy in Guyana, I wish I didn't tell you much about it. It was like, she wasn't happy with my dad, so she would take it out on me, like beat me. But I don't remember that so much. But I do know that I've heard stories from the elders that she kind of mistreated me a little bit. Like, she would, anyway, another story, another day. But so she would literally, it felt like I used to get beat every single day. I'm not gonna lie. I dreaded going home. I dreaded being at home. I just dreaded my living situation. I never knew what would set her off. I never knew what would make her angry. I just know that I walked on eggshells, because it was just a constant thing. I would say, I'll give you an example. I remember, I don't know, I'd forget to wash the dishes. She'll wake me up in the middle of the night, no matter what time it is. If she'd gone to her friends and she'd been drinking and smoking and that, she'll come back and she'll be like 2 o'clock in the morning, go wash the dishes. Okay. As a child, it wasn't fun. And I remember once I was buttering a toast, and I think I got egg in the butter, and she told me that I got egg in the butter. I was like, no, I don't think I did, Mum. And then she was like, yeah, you did. She got the knife and she literally slipped me in my face. I have a mark somewhere in my face. I don't even know. I don't really care anymore because it's just the past. But it was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. I would get black eyes all the time, and I'd have to go to school and tell the teachers that I was in a fight with my cousin, which none of my cousins ever laid a hand on me. Literally, it was my mom. It was my mom. I remember seeing stars, or flash of light you get when you get punched in your face. And I think one day I just had enough. I decided that I wasn't going to go to school and I wasn't going to lie anymore. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just remember staying on the bus. Everyone got off to go to school. I didn't know where the bus ended, but I stayed on the bus and I got to the end of the bus ride and I came off and I was just like, I don't know what to do. So I went into a phone booth and I just rang. Over here we have a number you can call for Childline. I called Childline and I just explained to them that my mom was abusive. She had been abusive for a while. I have a black eye right now. And they were like, what's your name? I told them my name. And they said, we have you on record. I'm like, why have you got me on record? A family member of mine had spoken to them on my behalf. I didn't know. So the plot thickens. So I actually don't remember how I got to the hospital that day, but that day I ended up in social services. Went to the hospital. They took photos. They made a record because abuse becomes I think you have to go on a child protection register. Well, I have to go on the child protection register and she gets kind of blacklisted. I never wanted that for my mom, but I didn't really want to be abused for so long. You know, it's like I have not had the best childhood from the age that I can remember, from when my nan died, like 5. Even then, I didn't think it was that great because my nan wasn't always there to protect me. I think I just had enough. I knew that this wasn't right. I just knew that you can't have someone live in fear all their life. I even attempted to take my life because I just didn't want to. Sorry, I actually just remembered this. I didn't want to live anymore. I thought everything was my fault. Like, she blamed me for absolutely everything. That woman told me that she should have aborted me, that she wished she had. I'd ruined her life. And all this was just because my dad didn't want her, which I then found out later on in life. But she pushed herself on him. She was only really young, so you can't really blame her for feeling the way she did, but she did. And at some point, you know, you have to kind of get over it. I didn't get it. Like, it is what it is. But I think we're going to end it there because that's just like one part of my childhood. There'll be more. I don't think these series are going to be that long, because that was actually quite quick. I skipped through quite a lot very quickly. There was so much more, and I could have been more in depth, but I don't think everything needs to be said. Yeah, I don't think everything needs to be said, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna go. I would say God bless you. Don't ever lose faith. And nothing is ever too hard for you to deal with, especially when you have God on your side. And the reason I'm saying these things is because from it you grow strength. Like I already said, I had already known that I was in a bad situation from a teenage year. My mum has got a good 16, 17 years on me. And by then she was in, well, her late 20s, and she still hadn't realized that. And that's what happens when you give up faith. You can lose the plot. Like, you can't hold on to grievances, and you can't hold on to blame forever. Like, you have to let go. Like, even me making this video, it's not something I want to do, but it's something that I know somewhere in this world someone needs it, to gain strength and to understand that it's not as bad as you think it is. And there are some women in this world that might have been, and I know there is, I've met a few that were raped as children, and they want to give up. I'm telling you, God has a bigger plan for you. Unfortunately, the devil is so evil, and we can't even blame God for this. Like, the devil is just so evil. He will do anything to break God's children. And for those that have gone through worse than me as a child, He is greater than your problem. And the end result after you've grown from this is so powerful. It is so powerful. Like, I can actually tell this story without crying. I have tears that have come to my eyes, but they've not fallen. For the first half of my life, I cried so much. I cried. And then it was just to a stage where I had to realize, like, you just can't keep crying. You need to pick yourself up and get on with it. And that's just me telling myself a pep talk. Like, you can't sit there and feel sorry for yourself because you've allowed the devil to win. And I didn't know this at the time. I just thought that I didn't want to have an angry past, angry life. And don't get it twisted. I'm not angry now, but I was angry then. Yeah, I was angry then. Because even though, and I know I'm going to go very soon, even though I seem okay now, I got myself into a lot of stupid things at school because of how angry I was. I didn't listen to teachers. My education went down the drain because I was so angry at life. I was so angry of everything that I was going through. And it was like, why me? Why me? And there became a certain point of my life where I realized, like, you have been through something and you ruined your life. And that's when I woke up. It was like, she could have done whatever she wanted to do to me. But sitting there and feeling sorry for myself and just getting angry at the world didn't help me grow as a person. And back to another lesson, that is exactly what the enemy wants. Like, he puts you through so much drama that you can't see the light of day. You can't see right from wrong. You can't do the things that you're supposed to do, because you just sit there feeling sorry for yourself, and it's like, well, such and such person's done this to me, so I deserve to be angry. A waste of time. I'm telling you now, a waste of time. The amount of years that I've wasted that I wish I had learnt before. It's just a waste of time. Don't allow your dramas, don't allow anything that anyone else has done to you affect you, because you're living that life, not them. You are living that life. And I don't know what else to say. You can't blame anybody else when it all goes downhill or it goes south, because when you see your maker and he says to you, what have you done with your life? Well, I didn't do nothing because, you know, my mum beat me up and I felt sorry for myself. Excuse me? She already did that. The rest of you, the rest of your life was down to you. And we're going to leave it at that. God loves you. I love you. And just remember, he'll never leave you or forsake you.